story nationally is what is the SEC going to do about their scheduling model? For years, they were very adamant about staying at 8 games. Now that they're about to have 16 games, a ninth game makes a ton of sense. The popular model is 3-6, but some teams are holding out hoping that they do 1-7, which to me doesn't make a lot of sense. Where do you think this will eventually head?
I mean, I think with any of these issues in college sports, or I guess in business in general, you follow the money, and there's far more money to be had in expanding to 9 games, both on the front end or on the large scale, because that's 8 extra games you can sell to ESPN, and that's another game you can sell to season ticket holders, another game at concessions, and on the money train rolls. I mean, I think the goal here is to diversify the SEC schedule that everyone in that conference agrees has grown stale, and to go to the 1-7 model where you would lose annual games like Auburn, Georgia, LSU, Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee, in Texas A&M. I mean, it feels like a step backwards. In reality, it would all be done to protect the Arkansas and the Kentucky's ability to make the Birmingham Bowl. Like it seems real penny wise and pound foolish.
Yeah, I guess it's pretty clear to most people, Zach, that this 3-6 seems to make the most sense. What argument do you think there is, if any, for the alternative?
I read a story today about how I think most people expected when the ADs got in that room yesterday, they'd hash it out and come to a pretty quick consensus that most of us got to, which is the 3-6 model. And then I think some minds were changed during that meeting towards the 1-7. I can't sit here and say who's on what side, but I think it's much closer to 50-50 than it was before the meetings. And I think the concerns are twofold. One being the bowl bids, and 2 being access to the college football playoff, because as of yet, we've yet to have a 2-loss team make the playoff. And so I think some are arguing that adding another conference game would be the SEC, cutting off its nose to spite its face. But that ignores the reality that outside of the SEC, right now the SEC is the only conference that would be okay with keeping the playoff at 4 teams. Everyone else wants it to expand. So it's going to go to 8 or 12. And then at that point, the SEC and the Big Ten will probably both get 10 and 2 teams into the playoff. And at that point will become irrelevant.
Yeah, it seems to me that like every argument you hear against either expanding the playoff or changing the schedule is, what if this very specific and rare situation would happen, which I don't think is a good argument for anything.
Yeah, it's very small-time thinking. I mean, what best serves students, fans, players is to be able to play SEC teams as often as possible. What best serves TV partners and therefore the money people within the athletics department is to play SEC games as often as possible. So clearly, those two constituencies are far best served by the 3-6 model. And so I have to believe that's still going to be the one that wins out in the end.
Zach, the SEC spring meeting's going on.